is framing his pitches right now for all these pitchers. It's such a difference from last year. Just your observation of that, how much key that has been for this whole pitching staff, what he does today.
Yeah, he's been working his tail off ever since last year, and he's been doing a great job. I've seen a lot of good catchers here, Fernando, Henry Hunter, and now Danny. And so it's tough when you're out there. It looks like everything's a strike, So it's like good pitch, and he's framing it well, but sometimes you just don't get the call. But yeah, he's doing a great job. He's improved a ton. Really proud of him.
We've heard a lot of stories recently about something Wes has told a hitter prior to an at-bat that worked. What's a moment that he's done something like that for you?
I guess just his time in the big leagues is interesting because on the hitter side, he just gets to watch. He's preparing for the pitchers since he's a pitching coach, but he got to watch a lot of the hitters and how they go about their business. And I think one time, maybe last year or the year before, I was kind of going through it, and he was like, "Man, you're tense. You look like you're trying way too hard." And he's like, "I need you to loosen up. I need you to, I don't want you to feel any muscle in your body." And it really helped, and that got me on a hot streak, and so I can appreciate Wes for that.
Kolby, what's the message you send, as the season's starting to wind down, you're trying to win that SEC title and you're trying to go further in the playoffs? What do you tell your younger teammates that are not familiar with this or the transfers that just joined?
Yeah, you take it one game at a time. They all count the same. Whether you're playing Missouri, Alabama, Florida, Texas A&M, whoever in the SEC, they're all good. They all have immense amount of talent, and so you go at it and you treat every game like it's your last, and you make sure you win one game at a time, and don't look at the sweeps, don't look at the series wins, don't look at anything like that. You take it one game at a time, and at the end of the year, you play well enough, it takes care of itself.
Is that easier said than done?
Easier said than done.
You're saying because you got a first place team against a last place team this
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
How do you get the message to your teammates about that?
It's just you take care of business. You show up to the yard, and the same way we show up for practice every day. We take care of business on Thursday, on Wednesday. So that Friday, Saturday, Sunday's pretty easy. So you go out there, you battle it, you fight your tail off, but you just take care of business.
What are some of the key ways this team has grown in the past month, and you have to go to 3 really, really tough venues and go 9-3? What's the biggest thing that this team learned about itself through that?
Yeah, our road schedule is very tough. We play at some of the hardest road environments in the SEC and in the country. And so when you go there and you let the noise kind of subside, and you hear the crowd be quiet, it's a powerful feeling. And when you do that, and I don't know what we were on the road, 9-3 maybe, but we played very well. I think this team plays well when they're threatened. When they feel like there's a threat of something going on, they rise up instead of when they feel the pressure, they could sink. But I think with this team, they feel the pressure, they rise to the occasion. So part of that message needs to be brought into the locker room, with a team like Missouri, and you say there's pressure. You go take care of business, you stay in first place. You don't really want to look at first place like that, but you take care of business and you feel that pressure. Let's rise to the occasion.
Why do you think this group does rise to the occasion?
I don't know why. It's just it's a fun feeling whenever everything's going on. There's a lot of distractions. We talk a lot about how distractions are all around you at all times. So if you can stay locked into the moment, take one pitch at a time, be with your teammates, be a team, and just go out and compete, because at the end of the day, we have what we think is the best team in the country. And so when you take that team and go compete at a high level, I think it works out very well.
And how much of an influence has people like Wes and I know Wes talked highly about Charlie. How much has Charlie had that impact to make sure the rest of the veterans can be leaders to all these young people that just
Talking about Charlie Connor?
Correct.
Yeah. Can you repeat that again?
I guess how much of does that leadership from Charlie kind of bounce off on veteran leaders currently right now?
Oh yeah. Me and Trey and Paul Farley and Will Tracus, we saw it, in 24 where it was we saw how he went about his business, and that was most impressive about him is he was the same dude every day. If he went 0 for 4 or 4 for 4, he was the same guy. And so just taking that same amount of effort in practice and to the games and seeing how he works is very important. And so now in my 3rd year here, it's very important to kind of look back and see what he did and remember what he did and how he went about his business and what kind of winner he was, and preach that to the younger guys.
talking about Daniel Jackson, just as a teammate, the season he's putting together, what's it been like just to watch the growth he's had that's paying off like it has so far this season?
We become good friends, and so we get to talking a lot about baseball and about the growth and, you know, moving forward and taking the next step. And he's been really disciplined. I've been really proud of him. Last year he was kind of like a wild child, had the talent, had the, you know, you can just see it. He's an amazing athlete, but you're just kind of waiting for him to put it together. And when he did that this year, it's pretty impressive. And watching Daniel take that next step and take the maturity and, you know, not chase a slider off, you know, to take your walk, you know, take the HBP, all those things. When you watch Daniel Jackson play, it's very, you know, it's impressive.
Got time for one more?
Okay.